Hello, welcome to the Ref Show. A slightly better week for Premier League referees. Take a bow, the unsung assistant referee who was right on the ball. Goal line technology, you are a star. And it seems that defenders are perfectly at liberty to make diving saves, just like goalkeepers. Keith Hackett, Mark Halsey, you were a goalkeeper.
I was, yes, I was, and
You'd have been proud.
I've been very proud of making a save like that. I've got most probably a few more first-team games. So, but
just watch and learn from these defenders diving and not being penalised.
And goalkeepers knowing the laws of the game as well.
Right. Well, we'll come to that, won't we? Yeah. Let's start with praise for a referee from Neil Warnock. Now, it's not often we can make that statement. His team lost as well at Manchester United, just a 1-0. I suppose predictable that they would lose. Chris Foy, he said, had a very good game.
That sounds like Neil and his passion for the game and sarcasm that I've seen in the past.
Do you really think?
Well,
I mean, let's be fair to Chris Foy. There was nothing disputed in that game at all.
I'm fine with that. I can remember Neil praising Lee Mason when Lee was being promoted to the Premier League referees group, and then finished up with a comment that said, the reason I'm praising him is I won't have to put up with him anymore.
And as a referee, that's what you want. You want a game like Man United Crystal Palace when there's no big key match incidents in the game, because it's easy to referee.
Isn't this being a little bit hard on a referee?
Oh no, you still got to manage the players, manage the game and manage the event and talk to the players and get players on your side, which leads not to showing a lot more dissent. So yeah, it's good to see.
The last thing a referee wants to hear is praise from Neil Warnock. Then
he's most probably setting up for Chris, because he'll get Chris in future weeks.
Well, we'll see. I know, Keith, that you also picked out Mike Jones, or particularly picked out Mike Jones. Stokes 2-1 win at Tottenham. You felt he did
really good. We've been waiting a few weeks, haven't we, to be able to select a referee. I wouldn't have thought it was Mike, but he's had a steady game, better than a steady game. He's gone through it, he's done well, which is exactly what we want here on this show.
Mark,
I think it's nice to see Mike, coming into it now, because he had a bit of a sticky period, I think, the last 2 seasons. But he's getting the confidence, getting the experience. My only question on that game is, the sending off.
This is Kyle Norton of Tottenham, who was sent off for denying a goal-scoring opportunity. Foul on Victor Moses. Was it a goal-scoring opportunity?
Well, you've got to look at the criterion law. He has to be denying a clear and obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Now, where the incident took place, was it clear? Was it obvious? And I'd have to say, well, perhaps not. But that's Mike's opinion. And you've got to look at the incident, where the incident took place, the distance from goal. Has he got any chance of regaining possession of the ball? Where was the ball? What direction was the ball going? And the vicinity, number of defenders that are in the vicinity of the area.
But he had more chance of scoring than Gary Crosby did in 1991, Keith.
Yes, I'm pleased that you reminded me on that one. Yeah, I was trying to forget it.
Are you going to give Mike Jones the benefit of any doubt on this one?
I'm going to give Mike the benefit of the doubt on the basis that I'm looking to praise this week a little bit, rather than sort of hammer these guys.
Yeah, okay, fair dues. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to go on to the critical aspects at the moment, and towards the end of the show we'll talk about what we do and why we do it. But Sunderland won, Everton won, Lee Mason. We're talking here really about a massive escape for a couple of Sunderland players possibly here. Jordi Gomez, did he dive? Looked like he did. He was already on a yellow card, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the challenge by Gomez on Gareth Barry. Obviously, in real time, it most probably to Lee, it most probably did look like a yellow card, didn't it? But once you see it again, then you realise it is he's gone over the top. It is a bad challenge, and it should have been a straight red card for Jordi Gomez. But as you say, looking at, you could argue both ways. Was it a foul? Was it simulation? Now, from Lee's body language, for me, he was going to give a foul. Stop the game for simulation against Jordi Gomez. But then what Lee's realised is he's already cautioned him. You can quite clearly see him putting his whistle to his mouth, and then he's realised, I've already cautioned him.
This is a referee, bottling out of...
No, I mean, I wouldn't say he's bottling out, but what Lee should have done was done nothing. Not put his whistle to his mouth. Yes, if you can get away. Yeah, there was a little bit of contact, but not enough to make him go down, and no one says anything, and you just get on with it. But the big talking point was Connor Wickham.
Okay, Connor Wickham should have been sent off under Dogso.
Yeah.
He fouled Seamus Coleman, who was right in on goal. Penalties given, but no...
Well, I mean, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, what's slightly worrying about all these aspects is that, we built up a team ethic. Mark will tell you we spent a lot of time how we work in teams with the assistant referees, the role of the fourth official. Remember, now he's a referee. He's not just the guy who's holding the board up. And you say to yourself, on the exposure of these guys with these decisions, are they allowing influences from outside to impair their judgment? And one suspects that that might be the case. The guy on the line, easy to say, give a red. Easy to do that. Yeah. It's the man in the middle that's got to give it. So I think I'm beginning to question two aspects: the teamwork and the concentration.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. But saying we go back to the criterion law again. I mean, you look at the Carl Norton sending off at Tottenham, and then you look at this one. Now, for me, it should have been the other way round.
Other way round.
And he's got the ball's at his feet. He's going to regain control of the ball. It's a clear and obvious denial of a goal scoring opportunity. And Keith's absolutely spot on. In that situation when it happens and a challenge is made, and then all of a sudden you get 1 or 2 seconds, then the whole scenario changes for you, and that's where you want your assistant or the fourth official to come and say clear red card for denial. So you hear that straight away. So there's no hesitation. Bang, and Keith's absolutely spot on about teamwork.
Well, I know you guys were dying to see a big game performance from a referee last weekend, and I think fair to say you got one from Mike Dean, QPR 2, Manchester City 2. Keith,
I think Mike's a very solid, competent, top-level referee. Yeah. And he should be out every Saturday. Every weekend he should have a game, and a big one, because he's, for me, the firefighter within that group. If there's a big game, likely to be spark in it, likely to be problems, put him on it, because he'll manage the situation effectively.
And of course, managing the situation effectively, it was one of the big talking points of the weekend, wasn't it? This disallowed Charlie Austin goal, which I think real time, as you've been watching on TV, you just said it's a goal.
I mean, you've got to praise John Brooks, because Mike Dean would not have seen that.
This is John Brooks, the assistant referee.
Yeah. Mike Dean would not have seen that, okay? I mean, and we're talking about concentration levels and top marks. Decision of the season. That.
Well, this is
for me.
Joe Hart hitting a free kick from deep inside his area, appears to hit it straight to Charlie Austin, who's outside the area, who fires it back in. Disallowed because...
the ball has been played twice.
It wasn't obvious though, was it?
Well, I think it was a fantastic spot by John Brooks. Terrific piece of assistant refereeing, and then the knowledge of the law, because this would have caught and did catch out a lot of referees, and I know that by the number of emails that I got, where I had to say, look, they've got it spot on. That is the law. It's been played twice. Therefore, the game is stopped.
Joe Hart kind of miskicks it against his other foot.
Correct. Immediately he's played it twice. That's the point. The game stops. He's not out the area.
And
but even Joe Hart's gone and said two touches.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at John Brooks, he's clearly advising Mike what he's seen, and straight away, bang.
He's got him out of a really tricky position.
Absolutely great piece of officiating, teamwork. Demonstrated. Let's see other referees do the same.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Keith about Mike. I just thought in the early stages he was a little bit inconsistent with his careless and reckless challenges, where he let Man City off but cautioned QPR players. But that's not his fault. I think that comes down to the evaluation.
Okay, linesmen don't very often get a mention for the right reason, but John Brooks certainly does. So well done.
Assistant,
I know that, but I still use. I'm sorry, I can't.
Well, we can correct you. We've got to correct you.
You're technically right, as you are with most things. Michael Oliver. Now, we gave him some stick last week. Joe Hart was mentioned in that conversation. He needed a performance. He's at Southampton 2, Leicester 0. Perhaps the ideal environment for him.
It is, and that's what we're talking about when we go on about managing your referees, like managing players. Stop giving them all these big games, because you need to take them out. And Southampton, Leicester, that's going to be an easy game. There's not going to be too many problems. hopefully, and he's got the experience to manage those games.
And he comes through well, I think.
I think he came through extremely well. He is a very competent referee. It's, as Marcus said, it's given him the right level of appointment and then nursing him through as he gains his experience.
Can I come to Mark Clattenburg quickly?
Yeah.
Because I like to mention all these 10 Premier League games. Burnley 1, Hull 0. 10 yellow cards in that. I don't think they were contested, but he won't have been happy to have given 10, will he?
No, knowing Mark, he doesn't like to show a yellow card, but from what I've read on the reports and seen the game, it was a very, very, very tough game. Both teams wanted to win the game, so you've got players hammer and tongs at their challenges. So he most probably deserved it.
He comes through with a tick, you know. Rather
it's good to see. It's good to see him back. Good to see him back where he belongs.
Anthony Taylor got the biggest game. That was Chelsea's 2-1 win at Liverpool. Two things here. Well, obviously, yet again, we're talking about Steven Gerrard, a shot. Diving, almost saved from a defender, no penalty.
Yeah, but I mean, up to that point, I thought Anthony was having a really good game.
So
I thought he managed the game, he managed the event, he managed the players well. He was talking to the players, and the players were responding. But once again, we're talking about two incidents, and I can give him the benefit of doubt on the first one. But the second one, I think it's got to come down to lack of concentration, lack of focus, thinking the game's in your pocket, and you cannot do that. That is, I mean, he was in a great position. He's got a clear view. That has to be given as a handball. And a referee, an elite referee at that level, FIFA referee, you have to see those. You have to see them, and you have to penalise.
Maybe a teamwork issue again. Goal line technology. Yeah. Honestly, Gary Cahill's goal for Chelsea in that game, it just couldn't have been given without technology, could it?
Not. No, it wouldn't have been given. There's no way it would have been
Nobody
given.
could have guessed.
I agree with that.
And I think that it showed goal line technology in its absolute pristine use.
Okay.
Exactly what we want.
Exactly. Well, Aston Villa 0, West Ham 0 at Upton Park. Sam Allardyce not best pleased with John Moss. A couple of penalty shouts there for West Ham, Mark.
Yeah, I think it was a nailed-on penalty, wasn't it? I think the first one. I don't think there's any complaints, is there really? I mean, Sam was quite quiet after the game, was he, on his interview? But there was a couple of other decisions where Aston Villa players went down really easy in the box, and John giving free kicks to Aston Villa.
Okay, Phil Dowd gets a mention again. I know you did the ref cam on Swansea 2, Arsenal 1, and I think overall you were quite impressed with Dowd's performance, but there was just one. Yeah,
I mean, once again, it's all about getting the big decisions right, and I'm pleased for Gary that they won this game 2-1, because I think Swansea deserved it. Had they not won, I think Gary would have been his press conference would have been very, very different, because for me, I mean, again, Phil's in a great position. And I just cannot. I mean, I saw the way he just dismissed it straight away, and I just think to myself, you're looking straight at it. I didn't need a replay to say that was a penalty, and I just can't understand why Phil's not giving that as a penalty.
We finished with Craig Pawson, who I know that Keith has got great hopes for. Now then, to quote RefCam, he was in total control, great man management skills. This was West Brom 0, Newcastle 2, which is great to see.
Oh, I think he's carrying on a terrific tradition of South Yorkshire referees. Aspiring to be the top level, and he's doing terrific. He's having a great game and games, and I think the good thing is that Mike Riley actually is giving him regular appointments.
Okay, we look out for Craig Pawson to develop from here.
I hope he's not watched your semi-final game. I hope he's not learned from that.
I know.
But going back to Craig, I mean, we had 10 Premier League games this weekend. Okay.
Yeah.
9. There was a total of 52 yellow cards. Okay, in 9 games. In Craig's game, no yellow cards. So it goes to show that the ref cam's absolutely spot on. Once again, it's a good game to put him in. 2 teams that play football, and it's great to see Craig doing well. Okay, and talking ref cam and talking a balance, some will never be happy about criticism. But it's fair to say ex-players analyse current players, ex-managers analyse current performance of managers. What's so different about you guys talking about referees?
Well, I don't see any difference. I think ultimately at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is expose the difficulties that referees have at the very highest level. Remember that they are paid professionals, and as such, the demands on them are to give good top-level performances, and we're not seeing it. We're not seeing it too often, this season so far.
So we make no apologies for the analysis. We do have something very, very different coming up in our next ref show. Must tell you finally about that, Keith and Mark. Thanks very much indeed. You'll be on the next one, which is You Are the Ref. Ref show question time in front of an invited audience at a theatre in Sheffield. If you haven't got your free ticket yet for that, just have a look at our website. It's got all the details. Who's on the panel besides these two, the usual suspects? We have Stato of fantasy football fame, we have Kevin Davis, we have David Hurst, and we have the very colourful manager of Rotherham United, Steve Evans. The only question we've got is who we're going to make fourth official on this particular programme. Don't miss the Ref Show next week. Thanks for your company. Bye-bye now.